In 63 BC, a Roman aristocrat allegedly plotted to burn Rome, assassinate senators, and overthrow the republic itself. His name was Lucius Sergius Catilina, better known as Catiline. Catiline was heavily in debt, like many Romans at the time. Wealthy elites increasingly bought up land once owned by small farmers and lived far beyond their means. Catiline promised to erase this debt. Alongside this, he also promised land, monetary distribution, and political change. This made him incredibly popular, especially amongst others, also facing such immense debt. This led him to run for consul, the highest office in Rome, after many failed attempts, most famously against Cicero in 63 BC. Lucius had had enough. Rome was just emerging from the dictatorship of Lucius Cornelius Sulla. Under Sulla's rule, political violence had become increasingly normal in Roman public life. Violence no longer seemed unusual as a tool for achieving political goals. In mid to late 63 BC, Catiline allegedly gathered supporters in secret meetings, which he held around Rome. During these meetings, the conspirators allegedly discussed rebellion and the overthrow of the government. While these meetings were being held in Rome, armed supporters also gathered in Etruria, modern-day Tuscany. The conspiracy appears to have attracted support from several social classes. However, disaster struck for Catiline when Cicero discovered the plot, apparently through informants. A major informant for Cicero was a woman named Fulvia, whose lover was involved in the plot and was a supporter of the conspirators. Cicero immediately upped his security and started to gather evidence to convict Catiline. In November 63 BC, Catiline allegedly planned to assassinate Cicero, but the attempt failed. On November 8, 63 BC, Cicero summoned the Senate to the temple of Jupiter Stator. Catiline attended, and Cicero went on to deliver one of history's most famous speeches, the first Catilinarian Oration. The speech opened with, "How long, O Catiline, will you abuse our patience?" During the speech, Cicero accused Catiline of conspiracy and treason. Catiline tried to defend himself, but found little outside support, so he quickly fled Rome, claiming he was putting himself into exile. However, he really met up with Gaius Manlius and his armed rebels in Etruria. The Senate labeled both men public enemies and began mobilizing against the coming revolt. Meanwhile, many conspirators remained secretly in Rome. The conspirators tried to recruit the Allobroges, a Gallic delegation visiting Rome. However, the Allobroges instead told Cicero, who then ordered a trap. Conspirators carrying incriminating letters were arrested while crossing the Tiber River. This provided physical evidence of the conspiracy. Several major conspirators were captured. Now came one of the Republic's most controversial moments. The Senate debated what to do with the arrested conspirators. Two famous figures took opposite sides. Julius Caesar argued that execution without trial is dangerous, imprisonment is better, and the state should uphold and follow its law even during a crisis. On the opposing side, Marcus Porcius Cato. Cato argued that Rome faced existential danger, and the only way to deal with it was through execution. Cato's speech won. The conspirators were executed without a formal trial in the Tullianum prison. Cicero later announced, "They have lived," meaning they were dead. However, Catiline remained in the field with armed followers. In early 62 BCE, Roman forces cornered him near Pistoria in northern Italy. At the Battle of Pistoria, Catiline refused to surrender. His army fought fiercely with high casualties. Ancient sources say Catiline himself died fighting at the front lines. Even hostile writers admitted his courage in battle. The conspiracy exposed major weaknesses in the Roman Republic. Debt and inequality had become explosive political issues. Armed uprisings and emergency powers became increasingly normal. The executions without trial raised questions about civil liberties and state power. The Republic increasingly depended on powerful individuals rather than stable institutions. Within decades, Caesar crossed the Rubicon, civil war erupted, and the Republic collapsed. Historian Donald L. Wasson later described the Republic as being in death's throes. Catiline's conspiracy may not have destroyed Rome, but it revealed just how fragile the Republic had already become.